Services of Oregon. You've called the Public Benefits Hotline. How may I help you?
Hello, my name is Sean Schwartz. I'm a disabled person here in Oregon. I don't have any assistance with any of the stuff that I've been sent around to services for assistance with. I literally can't take care of myself, and I'm just getting sent around in circles.
Okay. Well, this is the Public Benefits Hotline at Legal Aid. So, if there is a legal question, that's what we're set up to help with. What is it that's the difficulty here? Getting applications in? Getting qualified for services?
The thing is, I'm qualified for services. They're just not granting me them. I go to police when harm is caused to me like I'm supposed to, and they blow me off onto mental health, and mental health sets me up for therapy for months and months and months and months. When I'm harmed, that just makes it unsafe to go to the police or to mental health.
Okay. So, I admit I'm a little confused about what exactly is the trouble here. Is there a particular person that is causing you harm?
A lot of them, actually, and that's the problem, is that I can't remember all their names, which is why I record everything.
Okay.
I've been running around for over 10 months here in Tillamook, and whenever people harm me and I try to explain it to the police, they talk over me and send me to mental health, refuse to investigate it, and then I have to deal with those predators elsewhere.
Okay. What did you say that your name was?
Sean Schwartz.
And do you spell that S-H-A-W-N?
Yes, sir. I get bullied into going somewhere else every time. I've got a lot of recordings of it. I just can't get anyone to look at those recordings in person, and I don't have the ability to do all this over the internet. I don't have internet access all the time, especially not on my computer. I have so much evidence of making calls, but because I don't have a friend or family making the calls with me, I'm blown off. They're committing Medicare and Medicaid fraud here in Tillamook.
So, Mr. Schwartz, I'm sorry, there's a beeping noise. It's making me very difficult to understand you.
Sorry about that. I have to deal with that all the time because I'm stuck in public. I also have to talk about child abuse and rape and murder in public. I have to make all of my phone calls in public. It's very difficult for me. Plus, I have to try to keep my car on so that I can make sure that my phone is charged, and when I open the door it starts beeping. But also I can't roll down my windows, and it's a hot day, so I'm sweating like a pig.
Okay. So I'm still sort of trying to understand what the legal question here is. So if if the legal question is that the police aren't helping you, I'm afraid that's not really the sort of case that legal aid handles. This hotline is set up for questions like, for example, is Medicare denying me assistance doing that correctly or not? Is that the sort of concern that you have?
Sir, I don't have an advocate to help me make these calls to people like you or to the police or to anyone else. That's why I'm blown off everywhere. I'm overwhelmed with abuse. I'm overwhelmed by being sent around in circles. I got a piece of paper in the mail from Oregon Department of Human Services. It says something about my disabilities were changed or something like that. My disability benefits. We are sending this letter about changes to medical benefits on your case. We are here if you need help understanding your benefits and what they do to you. I've been trying to turn in abuse because I don't have anyone to help me to do that. Shit. Well, my phone fucking died. That's great. I don't want to hear the beeping either. I'm stuck with it. And as far as questions go, I don't have questions. I mean, sure, I have 1,000,001 of them, but I need a safe environment to make these fucking calls from. God damn it. Hurry up and fucking wait. Hurry up and fucking wait. Hurry up and fucking wait. Nobody takes it seriously. They blow me off, and then they give me a whole fucking list of every goddamn thing in their life. They don't give a shit about me. But sure, in Jesus' name. Right? How much is on this phone? All right, that might work. I suppose we could call Brandon Ratner, see if he's going to answer yet. Probably not.
Hello.
Hey, Brandon.
Hey.
It's Sean. I'm still taking abuse everywhere I go.
Right.
I still need help turning it in.
Okay.
Like,
Now, do you think? Obviously, you think that if I testified, it would change. Yeah.
I think if you testified to the truth, yeah. The thing is that I believe that you're capable of telling the truth, and I believe you want to tell the truth.
Well, generally, I do tell the truth, and generally, that's all that I want. I guess in my case, it's from you to I. It's that. I guess I don't necessarily know just the truth you'd like me to tell, or who to tell it to, or you have a suggestion, or even who to say it to, if not what to say, or
Well, that's the problem, is that I keep getting the runaround because I have to make the calls alone. I tried to explain that people have to make the calls with me, and they're going to send me around in circles if I don't. The situation with Natalie, when I talked to you before she was killed about the situation, I mean, I tried to explain I was being cut off from my friends. I wasn't some sort of stalker thing. It was me not being able to go home and see my friends in Boulder, But the situations afterwards where you had to work, like, the police said that I didn't try to get help and that nobody was going to help, probably because of the way that I act. And the reality is that the police just kept sending me around in circles. It's always somebody else's job. And that's what I needed people there for, so that it wouldn't be their word versus mine. With the stuff between Natalie and I, like, I sent that information out as soon as I could, as soon as I got those abilities.
Yeah, to some degree, I think. So what is the reason that you can't return to Boulder?
I can't go to Boulder because I'll get harmed just like I was for a whole year before Natalie was killed. The only time I went to Boulder during that entire time, do what?
Harmed by?
The police and the locals.
Okay.
But I also get that everywhere I go. Like, the Natalie thing went very viral, and people still make Natalie Bollinger things to this day. I'm in Tillamook taking abuse. I got film of all of that. I've got film of the abuse that I had to endure in the next town up. Like, they're committing Medicare and Medicaid fraud, and I can't call it in and get it taken seriously without somebody to call it in with me. Everywhere that I move, I'm bullied into moving somewhere else. The situation with Natalie Bollinger, it's not my fault that people didn't have time. The fact is, I did reach out for help. The police, they wanted to claim that I didn't try to get help and that people probably wouldn't help probably because of the way that I act. But all the evidence shows that people didn't have time. That's all they ever tell me. They don't have time. They're busy with this and they're busy with that. Or, there's a situation where my predators try to peg me as schizophrenic. If only my predators ever come forward to speak, and none of my friends who know me come forward to say, hey, no, Sean's not schizophrenic, he's fucking overwhelmed, then they automatically win. With Waylon Lolatai, I'm not sure if you've watched the news lately. He's been all over the news still because he should have never been hired. But people didn't speak up about me. They didn't call these news stations with me. They didn't call the police stations with me. And, because I had to make the calls alone, they're always going to tell me it's not their job, even if it is.
Yeah.
And that was the problem with people not making phone calls with me. If I'm called mentally ill, they're going to treat me the way they treat your brother. But I'm not your brother. I'm a very different person.
And yet he's also very intelligent and very capable of some incredible things through his intelligence. That doesn't mean that he's not in outer space a little bit, but
Shit, you and I are both out of it from time to time. I've seen you a few times when you weren't so well in the head, and I definitely been in your presence when I wasn't so well in the head.
Yeah.
But the thing is that they're trying to discredit me by
being not so well in the head is the reason we hadn't talked in quite a while, no?
Do what?
I said, in fact, us both being not so right in the head might have been why we hadn't talked in so long, huh?
Yes, sir. That situation in Wyoming turned into a real big mess. And just like always, I get treated like people like you don't exist, like you're figments of my imagination, like I'm delusional.
By who?
By law enforcement. That's what I was trying to tell y'all before I had all those court dates, is that if people don't come forward and admit what they know about the situation, these guys are going to continue to gaslight me and railroad me in court. I'm sorry for the beeping. I'm living in my car right now. It's a really hot day, and I don't open the door, I'll overheat.
Where are you at?
Tillamook, Oregon.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
It's even really hot out there, huh?
Yes, sir.
Rain clouds? No rain clouds.
No rain clouds. There's the clouds here seem to be produced by the mountains around it, but it just looks like that in the mornings.
Yeah, but I mean the Pacific Northwest is generally pretty nice and rainy.
Yeah, I remember it being hot up here in the 90s.
Yeah.
Anyway, I have the paperwork. Like I said, when I told you before that I needed my friends to come forward and admit that I'm not schizophrenic, that they're going to try to peg me as schizophrenic because they committed felonies. That was pretty important. It still is. But also, like, I'm taking a lot of abuse everywhere I go, and I how do I explain that? I go to the cops when people harm me, and I record everything that I possibly can. I record the assaults, I record the threats, I record it all, but without a friend or family member, literally everybody refuses to look at it. I can send you the stuff with Marcia Estrada, who's supposed to be my mental health worker in Nebraska. She states outright that I'm not schizophrenic. And Nicole Peralta stated outright that I'm not schizophrenic too. And they're the only two people who have seen me for 6 months or longer, which is how long it takes to diagnose somebody with schizophrenia.
Yes.
Like, you're pretty much the only person that I knew who was sober enough to fucking do anything.
Well, I gotta think, I mean, for what it's worth, I was 18 years old, maybe at best, or 19, 20, 22. I was pretty freaking young and focused on trying to survive in this fucked up world we call home.
Yeah. Well, for me, it's at the point where, they just pretend that I'm on drugs everywhere that I go. The rumors that were started by Natalie and her friends, like, everybody just rides with that. Nobody understands that this abuse is still ongoing. They still make that Natalie Bollinger stuff in other countries. And none of my friends or family understood that if I have to make the calls alone, they're going to tell me it's nobody's job. If somebody verifies the evidence and calls with me and says, "Hey, this is not right," like obviously I can't mentally take care of myself, and everybody's known that since as far back as I've known I've needed help. But at least when I was in Boulder and I could go see you guys, at least I knew that people weren't going to harm me while I was with you. But now I'm alone all the time. Like ever since I hurt my back in 2015, it's been like that. Every once in a while you'd come to see me. But the thing is that the cops wrote down on my paperwork that I never tried to get help. They claimed that nobody would help, probably because of the way that I act. And the thing is that I did try to get help. You know, people just didn't realize how big of an issue it was and how much harm I was enduring. With you, you're not a mandated reporter, so you're not going to be facing charges like Veronica Bruce would, but she worked with Region 2. She was a friend of mine that I went to before Natalie died. You know, the time that I met you over there at the skate park in Boulder was one of like 5 times overall that I actually went to Boulder before Natalie died. I went there once right after I left Virginia, and I got pushed and shoved a bit and told I needed to get the hell out of there by one of Matty Boa's friends. And then, you know, of course, I didn't stick around. I didn't want to put up with that, so I left. I went to Nebraska, and it didn't stop there. In Nebraska, the mental health workers were telling me that I needed to go to the Front Range of Colorado to get help there. So, of course, I had to pay rent in Nebraska and Colorado. And in Colorado, I had to stay with drug dealers. Like, you know, you helped me to move my stuff from Chapel, Nebraska to Ken and Leah's house. You also helped me move my stuff from Ken and Leah's house over to Tabitha Michelle Cook's house. But then I get treated like I made everything up, like I made you up, like I made Tabby up, like I made Ken and Leah up.
You're saying by law enforcement, though?
Law enforcement, yeah, they straight up claim that stuff. They claim that I didn't try to get help. And they claim that I was schizophrenic and delusional. That's what Sheriff Scott DaCosta of Chapel, Nebraska claimed. And that's what Officer Burke and Officer Jonas of Longmont claimed. Officer Burke was supposed to be investigating the situation with Natalie before Natalie was killed, but he didn't do his job, so they let him go and they hired him on Longmont. Longmont's where he assaulted me, and they injected me with drugs, and like they were supposed to be taking me for a 72-hour hold. They held me less than 20 hours. They held me just long enough to inject me with a bunch of drugs and ship me out the door with a bunch of stuff that I didn't know even happened. Like I was completely confused by the situation.
So hear me out. What are you doing right now? Obviously in the sun, probably?
Yes, sir. I'm sitting in my car.
You alone, or?
Do what?
I said, are you alone, or?
Yeah, I don't have any friends here. I got people who come up to me and tell me their stories once in a while. One guy was telling me about a girl holding him at gunpoint, but really, I just travel around trying to get help stopping the abuse. I mean, everywhere that I go, either someone's gonna go ahead.
You know, just to some degree, maybe all the wrongs that were suggested about you could be righted and on paper and on even illegal documents or paper, you know, and yet how anybody treats you going forward is kind of as up to subjectiveness as it, you know, ever was before, right? So hear me out, though. I need to call somebody to call me about 10 minutes ago, and I haven't even responded back. Now, I also, you know, it's 110 degrees where I am, right on the closest side of Colorado that Wyoming would get. And No, it's 110 freaking degrees, and I have to get this truck off. I tell you what, when I'm done calling and getting this truck off the trailer, how about I call you up and we start writing all this down and trying to figure out who to send it to?
Yes, sir. That sounds good to me.
Okay.
Thanks, Brandon.
Yep.
It's always hurry up and wait. But also, at least he's trying. He had one of the most severe skull fractures in Colorado history, as far as people who survived it. I always hope the best for him.